fulfilled prophecies about Jesus Christ, Jeremiah to Zechariah. As already announced in the video Prophecy from the Old Testament, the basics, this video deals with prophecies that have already been fulfilled that were given about Jesus Christ. In addition to confirmation by text in the Bible, the major events were also confirmed historically and archaeologically. Due to the large number of prophecies, only a small selection is presented. These are arranged according to the books of the Bible. The book Jeremiah. Prophecy, circa 620 BC. Women will mourn for their children. Thus says the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children, because they were not. Jeremiah 31:15. The fulfillment was in year 5 BC. Women mourn for their children when Herod has them killed because of Jesus. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth, and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise man. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. Matthew 2:16-18. The book Daniel. Prophecy, circa 600 BC. The Son of Man will appear before God the Father. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion, and glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Daniel 7:13-14. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus, the Son of Man, according to Matthew 9:4-6, sits down at the right hand of God the Father after his ascension. And Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, But that ye may know that the Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins, then says he to the sick of the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go unto thine house. Matthew 9:4-6. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? The same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Acts 1:9-11. So then after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven, and sat on the right hand of God. Mark 16:19. Prophecy, circa 600 BC. In the middle of the 70th week of Daniel's prophecy, Jesus will cause the sacrifices and oblation to cease through his death. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince, Greek Christus, Hebrew Mashiach, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, like halfway through, i.e. when the first half of the week of the year is over, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Daniel 9:25-27. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus' death fulfilled the sacrificial service and caused the sacrifices and oblation to cease. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. Commentary, i.e., the sacrifice and the oblation found their fulfillment in Jesus. And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. Matthew 27:50-51. On the Sabbath, the courts of the temple were filled with worshippers. The high priest from Golgotha was there, splendidly robed in his sacerdotal garments. White turbaned priest, full of activity, performed their duties, but some present were not at rest, as the blood of the bulls and goats were offered for sin. They were not conscious that type had met antitype, that an infinite sacrifice had been made for the sins of the world. They knew not that there was no further value in the performance of the ritual service. Hitherto the most holy place had been sacredly guarded from intrusion, but now it was open to all eyes. The heavy veil of tapestry, made of pure linen and beautifully wrought with gold, scarlet, and purple, was rent from top to bottom. Quote from Ellen White's book, Desire of Ages. The book Hosea. Prophecy, circa 720 BC. God calls his son out of Egypt. When Israel was a child, then I loved him, and called my son out of Egypt. Hosea 11:1. The fulfillment was in the year 5 BC. Joseph seeks refuge in Egypt with Mary and Jesus. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Matthew 2:14-15. The book Micah. Prophecy, circa 740 BC. The judge of Israel will be struck in the face. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He has laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. Micah 5:1. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus, the judge of Israel, according to Acts 10:39-42, is struck in the face, whom they slew and hanged on a tree, that it is he which was ordained of God to be judge of quick and dead. Acts 10:39-42. And the man that held Jesus mocked him and smote him. And when they had blindfolded him, they struck him on the face and asked him, saying, Prophesy, who is it that smote thee? Luke 22:63-64. One of the officers struck Jesus with the palm of his hand. John 18:22. Prophecy, circa 740 BC. The ruler of Israel will be born in Bethlehem Ephratah. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be the ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. Micah 5:2. The fulfillment was in the year 5 BC. Jesus is born in Bethlehem. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, Herod the Great, circa 73-4 BC, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. Matthew 2:1-2. The book Zechariah. Prophecy, circa 520 BC. Israel's king comes riding on a donkey. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. Zechariah 9:9. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus enters Jerusalem riding on a donkey, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord has need of them, and straightway he will send them. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye the daughter of Zion, Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and a colt, the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put on them their clothes, and they set him thereon. Matthew 21:2-7. Prophecy, circa 520 BC. 30 pieces of silver are thrown into the house of the Lord, the potter. And I said unto them, If ye think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver were the price for a slave killed by a bull. See Exodus 21:32. And the Lord said unto me, Cast it unto the potter, a goodly price that I was priced at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of the Lord. Zechariah 11:12-13. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Judas rose the 30 pieces of silver for betraying Jesus to the priests, who buy the potter's field with it, and said unto them, What will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. Matthew 26:15. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple, and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priests took the silver pieces, and said, It is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is a price of blood. And they took counsel, and bought with them the potter's field, to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. Matthew 27:5-10. Another prophecy from the year circa 520 BC. They will look upon him whom they have pierced, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. Zechariah 12:10. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus is pierced with a spear, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. John 19:34. Prophecy, circa 520 BC. The Messiah will have wounds on his hands. And one shall say unto him, What are these wounds in thine hands? Then he shall answer, Those with which I was wounded in the house of my friend. Zechariah 13:6. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. Jesus has wounds on his hands from the crucifixion. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, We have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. And after 8 days again his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Jesus, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Peace be unto you. Then said he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. John 20:24-27. Another prophecy from the year circa 520 BC. The sheep will scatter when the shepherd is struck. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, says the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little ones. Zechariah 13:7. The fulfillment was in the year 31 AD. The disciples flee when Jesus is taken prisoner. Then says Jesus unto them, All ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. Matthew 26:31. But all this was done, that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then also the disciples forsook him and fled. Matthew 26:56. Even today there are many prophecies that are being fulfilled right now before our eyes, and many have longed to see. For verily I say unto you, many prophets and righteous men have desired to see the things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear the things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Matthew 13:17. You too can see and hear the prophecies being fulfilled right now before our eyes. For more information, see the video description. Do you listen to God's voice?